Now, earlier this month, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida pledged to make it possible for some 85% of fathers to take parental leave from their jobs by 2030. The incentive is aimed at tackling the falling birth rate. Kishida's party, the LDP, has also proposed forgiving student loans for people who get married or have a baby. Kishida said, and I quote, "In the 2030s, the young population in Japan will decline at twice the current rate. The next 6 to 7 years will be the last chance to turn around the declining birth rate." Joining me now for more on this is DW News Asia reporter Michelle Stockman. Michelle, welcome. Given what Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has just said, it would appear that the student debt forgiveness idea is a good thing, right?
It might sound like that, especially if we look at Japanese tuition rates. They have gone up 40 times since 1972. And also in that period, there's been wage stagnation and tax hikes. So families have less disposable income to pay for their children's education, and more young people have to take out student loans if they want to go to college. But this proposal has hit a raw nerve, especially amongst women. Some see it as social engineering to make them baby-making machines when they think they might find fulfillment in other ways in life. And especially if you look at the way it's formulated, some think it's discriminatory. You know, what about women who can't have babies or don't want to have babies? Why not cut tuition fees across the board? And I spoke to a woman, her name is Anna. It's a pseudonym, actually. She's active in the Japanese feminist space. And during our interview, she didn't want to show her face on camera, but she read out a tweet that was her reaction to this proposal. And we'll play it for you right now, and that's her voice you're going to hear right now on this tweet.
Instead of actually listening to the women and the people for what they want, they incentivize birth with money. Meanwhile, childbirth is still not covered by the national health insurance. Over-the-counter pills are unavailable. Abortion pills are not approved. Male parental leave rate minimal.
Right, so even if the LDP government wants to increase male parental leave, it's not necessarily true that men are going to take it. And there's a whole host of other things that women have asked for that they feel like the government isn't listening to and needs to listen to women.
So what do women want?
So there are a bunch of disincentives baked into the Japanese system that make it a daunting choice for women to decide to have a baby. First of all, many of them have irregular contracts. That means they have to be renewed. There's an end date to them. And so there's job insecurity. Women want more job security. So if they have a baby or get married, they aren't fearing losing their job. They also want reform to the tax system that penalizes two-income earners. They also want more affordable childcare, especially in big metropolises like Japan. There's just a lack of childcare spaces. And also, women want help from the men in their lives. Women, surveys suggest that Japanese women do 7 times the amount of household chores that men do. And also when it comes to child rearing, they're the ones that need to go to the school meetings that are often during the workday. And little finicky things, like they have to put tags on all their children's clothes, they have to keep a diary for their children, a whole huge mental load for women. And they feel like the men in their lives just aren't there. In fact, Anna said to me during our interview, we're having to be both the mom and the dad is nowhere to be seen.
Speaking of dads, Japanese men also face challenges if they want to become dads, don't they?
They do, and even if they want to be more involved, there is a societal pressure that men should be the breadwinner. And that means men have to participate in a hardcore work culture in Japan that demands long hours in the office and also socializing after work. And again, if we talk about those contracts, more people have irregular contracts than the lifelong contracts. And so there's a certain job insecurity and that can make men seem like not an attractive marriage partner. And there's a game in Japan called the hellish game of life. And if you don't land on the spot that gives you one of these long-term, lifelong contracts, the rest of the game is hellish. Now, it's just a game, but it's derived from some truth in life.
Now, as creative as Prime Minister Kishida's LDP party might be trying to get to try and boost the birth rate, none of that will matter, will it, unless societal values, the societal pressure that you talked about changes?
You know, there's a lot of men and women in Japan who want to embrace these traditional gender roles, who do want to see the man as the main breadwinner, who want to see the women as her, but the pressure, the economic pressure on couples make it so the numbers just don't add up anymore. And Anna was saying to me, there's something that really symbolizes the vice that she sees women in. And that's going on the subway in Tokyo. And when you see a mother bring her baby on the subway, she has to take the baby out, take all the bags off, load herself up, fold the carriage together and take up as little space as possible and kind of do it with grace and ease. And this to her symbolizes the burdens that women in Japan feel like they have to bear. And right now, the LDP is making some proposals. Things need to change, but a lot of women say they're not listening to what women want. And unless they do, women are going to take themselves and continue to take themselves out of the equation.
Thanks very much for bringing us that perspective, Michelle Stockman.